Race number 2 on Sha Tin on Sunday. We're down to the 1,000 metres here. It's a Class 4 contest with 6 horses making their debut. Allied Agility, though, was good enough to win on debut under Martin Harley. Comes up with barrier 12 here, beating Super Junior, who's run since and been beaten a neck. Aurora Steed, Classic Unicorn, Galaxy Racer, Simply Fluke, Spicy Really, and Sprint Forward are the debutantes. You get down to Gunners, had 2 stars, 4th at Happy Valley last time out. Holy Money is behind Allied Agility, and he beat a couple of horses home in actual fact. And Telecom Rocket to take the blinkers off. He was behind Allied Agility 2 starts back in Marvellous World last time out. Aurora Steed, one of the debutants for John Size, Joe Mera, unencumbered 3-year-old, has been up at Chung Fa. Speed-wise, Tom, what are we looking at?
Well, could be variable here with the 6 first starters. Simply Fluke, we've got him up there. He's shown a little bit of pace. We've seen pace from Super Junior. Aurora Steed's shown some pace in trials. Allied Agility had plenty on debut. Classic Unicorn has shown some good pace, but they look to be the ones that potentially go forward out of the newcomers.
This was well spotted by yourself, Andrew, on debut. Allied Agility, he looked really strong the way he won. He doesn't look that much in track work. You can see there he's just cruising down the back stretch. This was on the 30th, had a gallop on the 26th as well. Both pieces were good. Let's go to Chun Fa now. Aurora Steed. Now, he's had a fever in November. He's had a bit of tendinitis as well in January, so he's been sort of on the back burner a little bit regarding his debut, but he seems to move well enough. Blinkers on for debut. And Classic Unicorn, this has shown plenty in the mornings. Look, you can see he's a really long-barreled horse. He's actually quite sizable, 12, 24 pounds. Just some light work there, but when he gets up and moving, he covers the ground well.
He does indeed, and we'll have a look at him in action in a moment or so. Let's start off with, though, the last start winner, and Allied Agility, his jockey, Martin Harley.
Marty, Allied Agility, won on debut. Just take us through that performance.
Yeah, no, it was a good performance. He done what I expected him to do, and I think also Ricky, what he expected him to do. His trials were nice. Yeah, and he done nothing wrong. He was very professional on debut. He handled the wet track well. I'm sure he'll be better on a nicer track. And yeah, looking forward to Sunday. He's got a nice draw and the right horses drawn around him, so fingers crossed.
He looked like he wanted to over-race a bit at times last time out. Would you prefer him to settle a bit more in the run?
Yeah, I think that was, you know, he's got a lot of natural speed. I do think he'll stay 1200 later on. I just think he's quite a nice horse. But listen, I think the more racing he gets, and I think there are better horses drawn around him this time, and we might be able to even take a lead. So he's very versatile. He led on a few barrier trials and done nothing wrong. And yeah, let's see. He's a versatile horse, and I'm not over bothered about that. I think he'll relax if I want him to relax.
There's 6 newcomers in the race. The fact that he's got that previous race day experience, how much of an advantage is that going to be?
Yeah, listen, I rode him in the mornings since his last run. He feels good. Feels like he's come on from his last run, but he needs to. He's got +7. He carries top weight. But as I say, you know, Zach rides a horse for Chris Soule that's been trialling nice, yeah, Zach's on him, so that's not a plus for me, it's a plus for him. But no, listen, you know, Neil Callan rides a horse for Casper that's been trialling beside mine. Obviously, I've carried more weight. He's dropped a few points. I've gone up the weights. You know, he has to improve. I think he has, and as I say, I couldn't be happier with me draw or the people drawn beside me to follow.
He's drawn barrier 12, Allied Agility, and showed loads of speed on debut. So we'll see what he's up against here with some of the newcomers. Then starting off with Classic Unicorn. We looked at this trial on last week's show for Happy Valley because that's Star Luck, who's trailing at this point. Didn't actually run all that well.
No, but we mentioned on race night Wednesday night, the time they've recorded here, 57.73 for a 1,000-metre trial at the Valley. It's almost unheard of. If you have a look at one of the other trials, Simply Fluke actually ran a trial the same morning. He won it too and ran 59.98, so he was 12 lengths quicker. He can run. We see plenty of pace from him. Here's that other trial that I was referring to, which is 2 seconds slower.
Yeah, Ben So riding here for Dennis. Yep, he seemed to show some good barrier speed. You can see him in front there. He's not really been asked too much in that trial. He's related to 7 individual winners, or 7 horses who've won about 26 between them. So there's plenty of winners in the family, and he's also had some trial experience in New Zealand as well, but he looked good there. All
right, this is the horse that Martin Harley was referring to there when he said the horse at Casper's that's been trialling with his gunner. Neil Callan will ride him.
Yeah, Zach Burton was aboard in this trial and he's obviously riding Classic Unicorn, so I think that's a bit of a tip in itself. He has been a little bit weak, I think it's fair to say, in his first two performances. He had a tough trip last start, but both times he's just got a bit tired over the 1,000 at the Valley, so I think the 1,000 up the straight will be even more testing. But he does have some experience ahead of some others.
Maybe they'll opt to do something different with him as well, because he has been up on the pace in those races at Happy Valley, so he might just take a sit here.
Yeah. All right, Classic Unicorn, nearly even money here. Brett, what do you think?
Yeah, well, there's been a fair bit of chatter about him, hasn't there, Andrew? But I was quite taken, like you were, with the performance of Allied Agility. Just looked very strong. We saw in that replay, the track was actually good, but there was a little bit of rain around. I think if he can get on top of the ground, he'll probably go better. He just looks a really strong young horse who can carry the weight and win again. Classic Unicorn, we don't really know what he's going to have to offer under race pressure, but it looks like there's a fair bit under the bonnet. Super Junior obviously chased Allied Agility, and my old Telecom Rocket, he wants further. I did make him a horse to follow. He can maybe sneak some minor money if he's lucky, but he will get a fair way out of his ground. But he's one to put in the fridge for next season, 1-4-2-14.
Allied Agility on top for me as well. There is some rain predicted again for Sunday afternoon, but the way he was able to go last time out, he should be tough to beat. Classic Unicorn of the newcomers. I've thrown in Aurora Steed for John Size and Joe Moreira. Had a few issues with some tendinitis and whatnot, but he looks a nice enough type. In Super Junior, put up a couple of good performances recently, so 1-4-3-2.
Allied Agility for me. Same numbers as Tom, exactly the same order in actual fact, so hopefully we're all right with him. But Classic Unicorn is the favourite there at this stage for race number 2. Feature race then is race number 9 on the programme. Short break for us, back with a third on the other side of this.